Well, hello, beautiful artisans. I hope you're having a beautiful week. I am so excited for this video. And we're doing the history of the Suffolk Puff. I keep wanting to say poof. And the yo-yo, the fabric yo-yos. And this is the scarf that we made just the other day. Isn't that just lovely? It feels good too. I just love it. So I am having a wonderful cup of coffee here. Check out the little bears. I've probably shown these to you before. But I got this for 50 cents. I mean, all of this, look, the sweater, this I got at the thrift shop. I think I paid $5 because they didn't have a sale. But look, it's got little buttons on it. It's really comfy. It's bright and cheerful. And then this, of course, we made. So it doesn't get better than that. So with that, I did a little research. And, I love figuring out when I do the ancient arts where they come from, what's going on. That's the first thing I did when I was learning wet felting. So there's different types of felting. There's the needle felting or dry felting, and then there's the wet felting. And then there's variations of that, which is like Nuno felting, and then you can do all different types of designs with that. And in that way, you can mix wet and dry felting. But I first learned the ancient method of the wet felting. The dry felting is more of a contemporary method, but the wet felting went back centuries and it fascinated me. So it's fascinating when we find out the origin of the ancient art. And with that, so if you're new to the channel, we create with all recycled materials, fabrics, and supplies. And if you're coming back, thank you so much for coming back. I love your ideas, your suggestions, and your comments. And today, this video is based on a suggestion. So a curiosity about, a little bit more about the history of the yo-yo. So yes, the yo-yo was called the Suffolk Puff, and it's this is interesting. I'm going to read it because it's so interesting. Also known as yo-yos in the United States, are a patchwork technique that originated in Suffolk, England in the early 1600s. You would not think of this as a patch work, as a patch. I wouldn't even categorize it like that. It's categorized that way and as a quilt, because as we were talking, when you make your yo-yo, you have your layer, your first layer, and then you have a second layer. But typically the Suffolk Puff was made by filling in the fabric yo-yo with wool. So they're going to tell us that. So that would be 3 layers. So the origins, the technique likely originated in Suffolk, England, where agricultural laborers would sew together fabric scraps and old clothing to make quilts. The first written record of the Suffolk Puff is in the early 1600s. The name Suffolk Puff comes from the Suffolk wool that was sometimes used to pad the gathered circles of fabric. Suffolk puffs were popular in the United States during the Great Depression and in the United Kingdom after World War II. In Brazil, Suffolk puffs are known as fusico, and in the Philippines, they are called yo-yo na, N-A. Now the uses, they're used for quilts, hair accessories, pin cushions, and more. So, and we have done demos on here on how to make these. Now, the interesting thing about, the yo-yos, the fabric yo-yos, is they can be used from creating artwork, art pieces, to clothing, to, like they said, different types of accessories. Okay, now, when I was doing some research, this is what I found for the ancient, get out of that one, for the, let me put it in here again. For the ancient yo-yo. Now, I'm going to try to find an image that you can see, because some of these are illustrations and they don't. There was one in particular. Here it is. Now check this out. This is an ancient outfit that maybe royalty would wear. And you see on the lower part of the skirt dress are yo-yos. They're large and they're just adorable. So they were used in ancient fashion. And it fascinates me because I wouldn't have thought of that necessarily right off the bat. Now let's see if I can find another. This is an illustration, but you can see, it doesn't show the dimensions of it, but you see the rosettes, or the fabric yo-yos would be those, the flower type designs up and down around the dress. So that's another way that they use them for decor. And now I want to show you just an illustration of kind of how the fabric rosette developed into just so many different designs of what they call the rosettes. So check out all those designs. Is that just a lovely? So, you could do detail on that in different types of materials, or embroidery. You could use embroidery for those. Okay, let's see here. So I want to see if I can find you one more, because there were a number of them I was looking at. This is very detailed, and I'm going to try to make it a little larger. But it says Queen Victoria's Banarasi brocade. Now this is quite there. See if you can see the rosette in the middle. It's like here on the V. But that was part of royalty design. I don't know if it's blue. I don't know if you can see it. But look at the detail there. Is that just gorgeous? And you could see if they detail the yo-yo fabric, yes, it would make a beautiful hairpiece, and could be used in that way. So the ancient fashion, I know there is someone watching or listening to this video who is intrigued with ancient fashion. And so I want to show you one more here. This is European women's fashion, 1600 to 1650. Check out the Suffolk Puffs or the Rosettes. Would you believe how beautiful that they would be? Look at that. You see them right there. They're red right around the circular part and the upper part of the bodice. Is that just gorgeous? Those are yo-yos. And what they did, there's many different ways that, like I said, you can embroider them or sew them, and just adorn them with intricate details. So I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to find out if the rosettes that we were just looking at were truly related to yo-yos, if they were yo-yos. And I found the answer, a yes. Rosettes are made from Suffolk Puffs. It's an A1 answer, but it's an answer. It's a good answer. This is what it says, that the Suffolk Puffs are fabric circles are gathered into rosettes. And it's a popular way to use up fabric scraps, and can be used in many ways. So this is almost a matter of semantics, if you will, because we're just looking at the fashion for 1600s in England, and they're calling them rosettes. They are fabric yo-yos or the Suffolk Puff. Very interesting. So, as you go back, I find that often that the terminology will change, the technique will change a little, and this and that as you do your research going back through the centuries. Very interesting. Suffolk Puffs can be used to make quilts where they can be joined together to create covers. For decorating, thank you for having a coffee with me, by the way. I need that this afternoon. Suffolk Puffs can be used to decorate items like hair accessories and pin cushions and headbands. So we haven't done a headband. I feel like I want to do one because a friend of mine, she was telling me the other day, one of the best video, I don't know how she does this. She's one of the best videos I've ever seen you in where your hair looked really good. Is when it was covered with a scarf. So yeah, I'm going to make a headband. Embellishing. Suffolk Puffs can be used to embellish everyday items like blankets, pillowcases, and pot holders. And again, it says the origin is from the 1600s, and they were popular in the 1930s. Okay, so anyway, now I want to share with you. I cannot find the name of this artist, but I'm going to bring you to her site because this is incredible. And if this doesn't inspire you, I know I'm going to get comments on this. Check this out. That is a coat of all yo-yos. Check that out. Now, if you look intricately at this, we're gonna see if we can get it larger. Okay. If you look intricately at this, it looks like they are not in any particular row, like up and down, but looks like they were overlapped, staggered a little bit, which is totally fine. That's what I love about the yo-yo. You could stagger it and overlap it, and it's just as beautiful. So let's just go to her site and make sure we give her credit. So the site it brought me to is called Thanks, I Made Them. And I'm going to show you the site. Thanks, I Made Them. So can you. So check that out. There's another one. Coat. Look at this. I'm going to show you the back of it because that shows. I'm going to make it larger. Okay, now this one looks like she did go in rows. Look at that. It almost looks like it's built from a square. That would be the perfect way to do it instead of trying to do like, in rows. Just make your little square, make another little square, go around, or in circles if you want to make one like that. It just gives you a guide and a pattern to follow. It just makes it a little easier. So, and now this is a little guide. This is the piece of equipment. I make that larger. You see the piece of equipment there? The little green yo-yo is sitting on the yellow plastic circle. That's that is a yo-yo guide. You use that to make your yo-yos. Once you do it a couple of times, you're like, I don't want to use this. I could go quicker myself. And you can. So, but it's a great way to start. So I wanted to share that with you and just, add a little more inspiration to these. I am hooked on these. This was a viewer who suggested these and just brought it all to the front of my mind and got me into it. And I just love it. So thank you. Thank you so much. You are my sunshine. And so with that, I will see you on the next one. And the next one, I'll have the granny square blanket all done. Somebody was asking about it, and yes, it's nearly done. I'm working on it at night for a couple of hours, and then it gets a little larger and larger. It's going to be large. And so that will be the next share with you is the granny square blanket. If you are making one of those, you have questions, let me know. Or you're making a nice little yo-yo scarf or something else. Someone had suggested a little while ago that we make a yo-yo bag. Now, this was my thought on that. is because the yo-yos, now they're strong, don't get me wrong, but they're not strong like if you have a broadcloth or a, one piece of fabric, right? That is tightly woven like a cotton piece of fabric. You're going to have, you're going to need either a lining that is strong in the bag, or what we could do, which would be a lot of fun and good experience, because we would have to take a really good look at some of the details and putting yo-yos onto an already used bag. So we're upcycling that bag. We're jazzing it up. We're giving it new life. It's a strong bag. It's beautiful, it's clean, it works, but we're going to decorate it and give it new life. So I think that's going to be one of our next projects. And, but yes, I am also, getting back into our Boro-Sashiko. I have my hat. This is what I think I shared this with you, but I didn't share the completion of the structure. So let me share this with you. This is, we're going to start sewing this on one of our next videos very shortly. This is all together now. I don't mean it's designed. Let's put it that way. It's pinned together, so it's ready to be sewn. You see this little piece here. We may cut that like that. I don't have to. We don't have to. But I'm going to share with you my hand stitching. I leave it right on here. I pin this down better, and I leave it on here, and then I start stitching. Now, am I going to do sashiko stitching on each piece? Am I going to take it apart and do the sashiko stitching? Any sashiko stitching that I do to design this hat, I will do after I have sewn my pieces together and before I put on a lining. So that's this particular hat. Do I do it that way each time? No. As you know, many times I will design the one piece and put it on. Will I put patches on this one? No. This particular hat is not going to get patches. And this is the reason. Right here, you see the natural torn hole there. And then you see a little, the pocket making geo design. And then we have seams. All of those I want to showcase. And then we have the little buckles here. And and there's some more. So I want to kind of showcase those a little bit on this particular hat. So, but we're going to continue with the hats for the maple leaf. So with that, I hope that you have a beautiful rest of the day. And it's Thursday, so I'll probably see you in a couple of days. And I plan to soon, depending on the weather, going up to the Art Guild, and I'll bring you with me. I'll touch base with you while I'm up there. Who knows? Maybe I'll jump on live. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful rest of the day, beautiful evening. Let me know how your projects are coming along, and I'll see you in the next one. Love and light.